Today we're going to tell you about a little known fact. If you watch our live videos, you see Will and I answering your questions, but what you don't see is the press conference that Will holds after each live video with the national media. So today we're going to take you behind the scenes and show you the last press conference.
Over here.
Hey, Will, Diane Cohn, Seattle Times. What did you think of Hillary's performance tonight?
Yeah, I thought she did pretty good tonight. I mean, she's getting better every week. We're happy with her progress. You know, she still has some work to do on some things, but you know, other than that, she's doing well. We're happy with how she's doing. You know, Hillary's moved here from Nebraska, and you know, I think at the last count, Nebraska had 4 trees in the whole state, so she's having a little bit of a hard time adapting to the trees here in Montana, but you know, other than that, she's coming around doing well. I think we'll see improvement every week out of her. Okay, over here in the back row. Yeah, yep.
Hey Will, Brad Armstrong here with ESPN. Isn't Hillary a Nebraska Cornhusker fan? How do you think they would do against the Montana Grizzlies?
Yeah, you know, that's the other thing Hillary's got to deal with is she's a huge Nebraska Cornhusker fan, and they haven't been good since the beginning of time, it seems like. And you know, every year her and her fiance, they think it's going to be the year, and it's just another repeat of last year, Groundhog Day, if you want to call it that. I don't know, against the Grizzlies, they would probably lose right now. I don't know if they're at the 1AA level yet, but I think Nebraska has a potential someday to get back to where they were, but it's gonna be a while, and hopefully Hillary can focus on other things while this happens, and someday maybe her and her grandchildren can watch you know, another Nebraska national championship. Okay, over here. Yep.
I got a question.
Will.
Right back here.
Hi, Will. This is Neil from the LA Times. Winter's coming now. Would you recommend buying or moving to Montana in the winter?
Yeah, as far as buying in the winter goes, it's almost a better time to buy is in the winter, just because there's not as many people looking. There's not as many people in town here. You know, you can get some deals in the winter time. I would have no problem buying in the winter. As far as moving in the winter, you know, if you run into a bad stretch of weather, it could be a problem, but you know, people do it all the time. I think it's something that can be done fairly easily with some planning, and you know, if that's the route you decide to take, you may save some money on a house getting it that time of year.
I've got a follow-up for you. How about people selling their homes in the winter?
Yeah, the sellers, same thing goes for them. You know, if they're not going to be up against as much competition as they would be in the summertime. So, especially in the holidays, we see that a lot during the holidays, where a lot of people will take their homes off the market because they don't want to deal with trying to sell a home, or they don't want to deal with showings actually in the middle of winter, or they don't want to deal with showings during the middle of the holidays. They have family here, friends here, they just don't want to deal with that, which I understand. But the people that are looking over the holidays are very serious. So if you do decide to keep your house on the market during the holidays, you may have a better chance of selling it. Because what we always see here, it seems like January 3rd every year, we get a huge influx of houses on the market. Kind of maybe not as big as May or the springtime, but we do get quite a few houses that come on right after the holidays. So if you are looking to sell and you need to sell, you know, maybe the holidays is the route to go. Obviously it's a bit of a pain with the holidays, but you may find some serious buyers looking at that time. All right, how about right up here in the front?
This is Karen Carr with the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Did your wife really grow up in Glacier National Park?
Yeah, actually she did grow up in the park. Not a lot of people can say that. So she had a cool childhood growing up in the park. Her dad was a backcountry park ranger. In fact, if you look up here, I'll put one of the videos that we did with him. He was part of the whole Night of the Grizzly thing. I don't know if you guys have read that book, but if you haven't, you should. It's an interesting book. It's basically back in the 1968. There were two girls that were killed by grizzly bears on the same night in two different parts of the park, so it was two different bears. And up until that point, ever since Glacier had been a park, nobody had ever been killed by a grizzly bear. There'd been attacks, but nobody had ever been killed. And then on that tragic night, there were two different girls that were killed, and he was working that night, and actually he had to go kill one of the bears after they recovered the girl and got everybody out of there. Him and another guy went and had to shoot the bear that killed the girl. So again, Night of the Grizzly, it's a great book. If you haven't read it, check it out. But yeah, that's Angie's dad, and so, you know, she grew up in the summertime hiking all of the backcountry with her dad, and funny enough, she didn't like it because she thought that she should be back home in town with all of her friends, playing and hanging out and playing baseball and things that normal kids do. But instead she was hiking all of Glacier Park, which now she realizes how good she had it, but at the time she wasn't too impressed. But pretty good childhood for Angie.
And my follow-up question, can you buy a home in Glacier National Park?
Yes, actually you can buy houses in Glacier Park. They don't come on the market very often, so if you want a house in the park, you got to keep your eyes open because they usually sell pretty quick, and obviously they're pretty expensive just because, as they say, real estate is all about location, and I don't know of any other national parks, I'm sure there probably is, but I don't know of any other national parks where you can buy a house in there. And the way it worked in Glacier was that there were already houses and property owned inside the park back in the early 1900s when they made Glacier a national park, and so they were all grandfathered in, and most of the families have kept them in their families the whole time. But like I said, occasionally one will come up for sale in the park, and if you can get one, that's awesome, because like I said, there's not many national parks you can buy in, and the beauty of Glacier Park, pretty tough to beat. So the houses in there, they do go pretty quick. Right over here.
Hey Will, Jackie Baker from the New York Post. How long is the Going to the Sun Road open every year?
Yeah, Going to the Sun Road is closed now for the year because they're doing construction, but it's normally open from about the end of June every year until the middle of October. But like I said, they're doing construction on the road this year, so they've already closed it down. But on normal years, again, the springtime, the opening depends on how much snow. This year, it opened, I believe, on June 13th, which was one of the latest openings ever. And if I said that wrong earlier, they're usually open at the beginning of June, I think, every spring. But this year it was the 13th of June, which tied the record for the latest opening of the Going to the Sun Road. And again, they closed it on October 1st to finish up with the construction and to try and beat the weather, because they're already getting snow up in the high levels, and they have to take down all the guardrails and get it ready to plow next spring before all the snow flies this fall. So it's quite a project. There are videos every spring of the progress of the plows. There's one part of the road just past Logan Pass that is 80 feet deep of snow. So obviously they need some big equipment to get that cleared out and to get the road open for everybody to use the park all summer long. All right, right over there in the middle.
Hey, Emily Farber here from Entertainment Tonight. I heard that you were going to be on Yellowstone this season.
So I can either confirm or deny that we're going to be on Yellowstone, but I will say that Hillary and I both went down, and we did go down, and we were extras for a few days down there. Who knows if we'll get on or not. They do so many different takes of the different scenes that, you know, we may be on a whole bunch or we may not be on at all, but we'll just have to wait and see. Comes out November 13th, the first episode, so keep your eyes open, and maybe we'll be on.
Okay, follow-up question. Where do they film Yellowstone?
Yeah, they film Yellowstone down in Darby. Actually, they film it all over the state, but the ranch that they film it at is in Darby, about a mile south of town. It's called Chief Joseph Ranch. We did a video on that last year where we drove down there, but obviously you guys have all watched the show and you know or you've seen the ranch, but just beautiful, beautiful place. We did get to go out there and film out there while we were extras, and so it was a very cool thing to do, and I would highly recommend. They only take people from Montana. There's a Facebook group called Yellowstone Extras, I believe, or if you just put that in Facebook, that group will pop up. And I know they've already finished filming this year, but next year they'll be back, I'm sure, and you should sign up because it was a lot of fun. I would highly recommend it, and it'll be interesting to see if we get on. But they film, like I said, the main filming is in Darby at the ranch, and then they film. I know they filmed some in Missoula and Hamilton, and I even think they were in Helena this year. So yeah, they're all over the state, but the main place is down in the Bitterroot Valley. So yeah, check it out, and we'll see if we've made it to the big time or not on November 13th. Nothing else? Nothing? All right, thank you guys.
Thank you for watching our video. Please call, text, or email for more information, and don't forget to watch our other videos about Montana.